to just be, to just express myself without feeling that I need to read it before, but you do what you do in order to, before you get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? You do what you do to get comfortable, and then once you get comfortable, you can take the next step to get out of that comfort zone to the next level of things. And right now, that's what I'm taking it to. Because a lot of times on my videos, I got several videos, but you don't see me. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see my face or nothing like that. You don't. And a lot of people think that I'm actually coming off the top because how I read my own words, they are my own words. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So because I'm reading my own words, it sounds like I'm just coming straight out with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's really something that I wrote myself and then I read it. Like a rap. You know what I'm saying? You write your rap down. You get your phrasing right. You see you see that everything, after you done read it to yourself a few times, you see your phrasing is right. You see your stanzas match, and everything rhyming the way it's supposed to rhyme. You know what I'm saying? And then you read it. After a while, you know your own rap by heart. After a while, you know what I'm saying? And that's how it works. And then after a while, you don't even need to write your raps down. You can come off the top with them. Everybody got their own method of doing it, but that's just mine. That's just the way I do it. And Tanya was talking about last night I was going over. See, in my room I have a Gleason map, and for lack of a better term, it's a flat Earth map. Did I show it to you? You didn't see the Gleason map? But anyway, it's just a flat map showing the plane, or showing all the 7 continents they say we got, from an above perspective. So when you're looking at it, it looks flat, and it looks like you're over the entire top of it. So this rug down here, this little rug, area space rug right here, would be the map, and the way you look at it is from standing above it, because it's a true representation of a flat plane. So it's not a ball, it's not a a globe or nothing like that. And the sizes of the different continents are different from the sizes you see on the world map, the regular world map, because it's a lot of it's a lot of real questions about that world map and the actual sizes of the continents on that map and the placements of the continents on that map. And that map is obviously representing a heliocentric model. It's not representing a flat model. It's trying to say that it's round. When you look at it, you can kind of see that it's an oblate spheroid, how they draw the map like that, with South America at the bottom and the Arctic, the North Pole at the top. And then you got the eastern and the western hemispheres. And they show all of it like it's almost like a flat thing where you can see all the continents on one side, but they still kind of draw it to where it puts your mind into, oh, I'm going to formulate this map into a sphere. The Gleason map is straight up flat. There's no, and there's a circle which represents the outer ring, or the south, so-called South Pole. See, our model is different from the globe. We say that plate that's right there, you see the outer ring of it, that would represent the so-called South Pole. You understand? And in the center of that plate, the very center of it would represent the North Pole. And all the land masses will be flat on that plate surrounding the North Pole, with the different land masses, in different places like North America, South America, Africa, this and that. That's how we see the model of the flat Earth. So when people say, "Oh, so you're gonna run off the edge or fall off the edge if you go," no, because we're in a circle, just like that plate, and we're enclosed within an ice ring, or the so-called north-south polar regions around the whole thing. And when you look at the Gleason map, it shows you that white polar ice region. You see what I'm saying? That's why they call the South. That's why they call them polar rings. You see what I'm saying? But they try to hide it. They tell you the truth, but they hide it on a globe. They call it a polar ring because that's what it is, a ring. And that ring holds in the waters of the planet. Water will take the shape of anything that it's put into. And if you put it in that dish, even if you put a little layer of water in that flat plate right there, that flattened plate right there, it'll sit in there and conform to the rim of that plate until you move it. You know what I'm saying? And it splash out or whatever. You know, water will not conform to the outside of a rocky surface. Meaning, if I take this cup, right, and I pour water in it, it'll conform and take the whole shape of the inside of this cup perfectly. But if I take this cup and try to pour water on the outside of it and make it conform to the shape of this, it's impossible. It won't work. Gravity, I don't give a damn what you say. It should, you know what I'm saying? It won't work. And so that's how we explain the flat Earth model. Water does not conform to the outside of any object. Water conforms to the inside of an object. You see? It's just impossible for it to happen the other way around. And because, and the only reason I brought that up is because I told you me and Tanya was talking about the map and how, you know, how you actually look at that map, how you actually understand what you're looking at the map, because you actually standing over the map when you look at it. You see what I'm saying? It's easy to really grasp what the map is representing when you can understand the map. A lot of people think understanding this means being deep and trying to come up with all these different ways to explain stuff. No, it simply means to stand over something. Literally. And when you stand over something, you get a different perspective of things. That's why people think outer space means up. You know what I'm saying? They look outer space and they think up, but they don't never think like the outside of that plate. I think me and you had this discussion before. The outside of that plate would be the outer space of the plate. That table and its dimensions would be outer space to that plate. You know, not necessarily that way. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we think. That's what most of us think when we think outer space. We look up. You know what I'm saying? You look straight up. And when that's not the only perspective that we can take, we can also take the perspective of, wait a minute, this is outer. To that way, in all directions, on the same plane that you're on is outer. Depending on, you know, your dimensions of where you are. If you're in the dimension of 24,000 miles in circumference, the way they say the Earth is, 24,000 miles in circumference, then anything outside of that would be outer space, right? And if you look on a flat map, and if we're on a flat map or a flat plane, and you look at a flat map, and just say the circumference of that plane is 24,000 miles of circumference, then anything outside of that plane in all directions will be outer space. Not necessarily up. Just outer. Horizontally outer. And that's one of the things I'm trying to get into the minds of people who are trying to understand the flat earth. Some people will never get it because they're so, caught up on their beliefs of what they were taught. You know what I'm saying? They may have had a great teacher that they love and respect. You know what I'm saying? And whether that teacher's still here, living, or passed on or transitioned on, they respected this teacher. And they actually believed in what the teacher taught them. And I understand I was the same way. And at the same time, we're in a day and time now where the reality is, show me, prove it, or get the fuck out my face. I don't need to hear that shit. I don't need to see nothing else. I don't need the fantasies. I don't need the games, the put-ons. I don't need any of that. If you can't prove all this outer space shit, Mars, and if you can't prove none of that, I don't need to hear it. You can't even, they show you pictures of Mars, Mercury, and all that, but they all CGI. So we don't know if Venus, Mercury, or Mars is terraforming like the planet Earth. We don't know that. We may think so because of the information that they taught us in school and the bullshit moon landing and the bullshit Mars rover exploration, right? But if none of that stuff is true, meaning they can't prove it's true, they can't prove none of it with a real picture, you know what I'm saying? Has to be some kind of illustrated drawing, beautifully illustrated drawing, some great ass artists over there at NASA, right? Then why the hell else should I believe any damn thing they say? Why should I believe anything they say? If they're not telling me, if they're not showing me a true picture of the planet from so-called outer space without it being photoshopped or computer generated or, edited, brushed up, any of that stuff, just a straight up picture, then, for one, right there, it's lost. It's a done deal. Right there, you ain't got to go into all the science. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even got to go into all the other different so-called theories. You can start right there with the pictures. Because they say a picture speaks 1,000 words. And if you lying, then pictures speak 1,000 lies. You see what I'm saying? And so, with NASA showing us all this stuff, and then you got these conscious community people, or these conscious people in the community, so-called conscious, I don't know, that still holds on to the beliefs that the teachers taught, without doing any true investigative research on that information. These people are not going to accept the true reality that we're living in today on the flat plane. They're not going to accept it. They can't. Because they won't give up their beliefs. They won't even look into their beliefs enough to try to debunk their own beliefs. You see what I'm saying? And that's how far you have to take it in order to get the truth out of what it is you're trying to teach, or what it is you thought you believed. And you have to get the truth. And sometimes you have to go in and debunk your own beliefs. And that's what I had to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I studied up under the Holy Tabernacle Ministries under Dr. Malachi Z. York. And during the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, we learned a lot about, religion, all the different religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the main three monotheistic religions we learned about. And personally, what I got out of a lot of that was the fact that, they were hiding things. You know what I'm saying? like when I look at the Bible, I look at the Bible like an illusionary art book. You know them books that I got where you can look at a picture and you look at it deep enough, you see a second picture in it. Well, to me, that's what the Bible is. It's a book of illusionary art or illusionary things that's going on. You read the story and it tell you one thing, but then you read it in Hebrew, read the story from Hebrew, it tell you a whole different story. You see what I'm saying? A whole different thing. And so, you know, I got that piece of information from, you know, the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, and that resonated with me a lot. But what really resonated with me and which really had me in a hole was this whole 19th galaxy thing. This whole thing of, you know, living out of space or coming from the 19th galaxy. This galaxy, the Milky Way, is supposedly the 18th galaxy. And our ancient ancestors were supposedly from the 19th galaxy. You remember the drawings I used to draw on the boards and the other boards, right? Where I had the whole 19th galaxy drawn out. It's called Ilion, right? And Ilion simply means the most high or on high, the highest, right? And the actual planet that we were from or supposedly from was called Risk, Rizq. And the beings on that planet were known as Riskians. And these beings, their planetary dome or their ozone layer was starting to break down, much like what they're trying to tell us here on Earth as far as, you know, global warming, ozone layer breaking down. Well, their ozone layer was so-called breaking down as well. And in order to repair a broken down ozone layer is to, you know, shield it with gold dust particles. And they had to travel out of their galaxy, the 19th galaxy, into other galaxies to find gold so that they can crush down, beat down into dust in order to build a dome over their planet so that they could, you know, provide safety for the people on the planet from the ultraviolet rays. And keep in mind, Risk was a 3-sun star system. So there were 3 suns instead of 1 sun dominating that solar system. Okay? And there was 19 planets. Risk was the 8th planet. And there were 38 moons. Risk had 1 moon, just like Earth has 1 moon. But it was the center of the whole universe. It was the middle planet within the whole universe between all 3 of those suns. And as time went on, we traveled through the universe. We traveled through the 19th galaxy into the 18th galaxy, and which was a 26,000 year orbit. Risk was originally known to be on the 26,000 year orbit into this planet, which a lot of people call the destroyer, Nibiru, you know, all these other, you know, these names they have for it. And just to make a long story short, we traveled here. We had the Nibiru was supposed to be a ship, a planet-sized ship that crossed over. That's what Nibiru means, to cross over. And it was equipped with 4 powerful wind shields or whirlwinds or power winds around it. 4 winds, which gave Nibiru the capability to, you know, adapt to any environment, land, water, air, you know, gas. It could adapt. So anyway, Nibiru apparently came into this solar system, taking all the other planets off course, knocking them off course, running into some of them, kissing off Saturn, bumping into Maldek, splitting it in half, you know, catching some of their moons into its orbit, coming through, and Nibiru never really hit Earth, but one of those 4 winds, those 4 satellites that was around Nibiru, hit the planet, split it in half. Once the planet got split in half, Nibiru got thrown off its 26,000 course orbit. 26,000 years is is an age. No, it's a, what is it? It's the mark the time of a procession. You see what I'm saying? You familiar with processions? Well, 26,000 year marks a procession.
Yeah.
And Nibiru came through every 26,000 years. But once one of the four winds hit into the planet and crushed it and split it in half, it threw Nibiru off its 26,000 year course into a shar. A shar is a 3,600 year course. So now Nibiru supposedly comes back every 3,600 years instead of every 26,000 years now because of that crash. You see what I'm saying? And every so many 3,600 years came back and boom, hit it again. And that's how you get your moons and your asteroid belts and, you know, the whole asteroid belt thing. That's the whole story of Nibiru. Not the whole story, but that's how Nibiru created this planet, because Tiamat was 2 to 3 to 4 times bigger than what it is now, and it was known as Tiamat, and the watery maiden, and another name for a female. Mother Nature, Mother Earth was always considered a mother, a female, and Tiamat was considered a large dragon that was split in half by Marduk. Marduk was one of the leaders who came down from Nibiru or from Risk to defeat Tiamat. And it's a whole story behind why they're supposed to do that, because Tiamat was doing something with the Tablet of Destinies that she shouldn't have done. I don't want to get too deep into all of that, but the whole point of that story, or I remember that story. I remember that story being in the New Wapian camps or being in the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, and I remember that story, and you know, in light of this new information, in light of this new reality that we're in, receiving all this new information, I'm starting to realize that, you know, either this is just a ploy or a joke, or it's more to it than just it being, you know, a joke, or more than this being just a fiction or a myth. Because when you do the real research on the firmament, you realize that no space agency, including NASA, has gone through the firmament. None of them. Even through all the testing they've done since the 1940s, they have not been able to penetrate the firmament. Although they'll lie and show you shit like they out there on the moon somewhere, you know, but it's all a lie, because you can trace those same land structures on the moon back to some earthly structure. It matches. Same thing with Mars. A lot of the Mars rover exploration pictures match up with places in Ireland. I mean, clearly. And so, once you realize that, it's start to really see that the NASA is lying to you, even though they're making $50 million a day. They're lying to you about things. You start to really investigate and start looking deeper in this. Let me look at this and make sure and see for myself what's really going on. And what you find is that the rabbit hole goes really, 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 really deep with that. Now, this whole Nibiru thing makes more sense when you look at it from the flat earth perspective of having space outer the space that you're in. This is the outer space. You see what I'm saying? And for the purposes of, you know, just talking to you, there's maps, there's old ancient maps, Chinese maps that depict outer areas outside of the 7 continents that we're familiar with. And they only call the 7th continent the Antarctica continent because they lied to make you think there's a little ice cap down at the bottom of a damn globe. You see what I'm saying? But really, it's not. But we're going to count it because that's what they, you see what I'm saying? That's what they say is 7. And it's just a lot of interesting facts, man. If you was looking at my screen right now, you would see the correlation between the Ilion, the 19th galaxy of Ilion, and there are 38 moons, and the correlation between this Chinese map, which is 1,000 years old, showing the different land masses around or outside on outer space of the 7 continents that we know and are familiar with now. They hid, and I think, and I'm not saying that this is what Dr. Malachi Z. York did. However, it's just a very uncanny resemblance between that 1,000-year-old Chinese map and the map of Ilion. And I think I don't know why that keep popping up. I think the secrets I don't know why this keep popping up. So I think the secrets was hidden in the moons. In the diagram of Ilion, there's 38 moons. And in this Chinese map, there's 31 land masses on the outside area of the 7 land masses that we're familiar with. And when you add them all up, you get 38. And the positions of these outer space land masses is very uncannily similar to the Risk planet and moon placements. Very cannily and familiar and similar. And so I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that Dr. York did this. However, it's a very convincing theory at this point that this area outside of the 7 continents that we're familiar with is considered outer space. And they kind of match up with the moon placements of Ilion. And Ilion again simply means highest, the most, or the highest point. It's a lot of information that can be made along with this. But I'm glad you lent me your ear, man, so I can at least express some of that. And when I do my video, I'll be more prepared on how to word it better and where to go. Because it'll be even better when I go through these slides and, have my thoughts together.
Anything you might want to address in your video?
What's that?
There's no doubt going to be someone who's going to be like, okay, well, how do you know that, the map of risk, someone didn't just make that up? Because if they knew about the Chinese map from, 1,000 years ago, they could have just been like, oh, okay, if I'm on this after that, people will do anything. So.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, if that's the case, see, a lot of people, they want to harp on the teacher. They want to harp on the messenger. You know what I'm saying? And even if they did make this stuff up, and because of, the Chinese map, you know what I'm saying? Even if that's the case, my thing is, a lot of people don't realize that Pops, and he clearly says it in the holy tablets and in many of his recordings and many of his books, that he is a being of 720 degrees, meaning he's supposedly a master, a supreme grandmaster teacher. 720 degrees of knowledge, 360 degrees of disagreeable, 360 degrees of agreeable knowledge, which means that he's going to use all of that information. You feel me? And he always said, I never heard him not say this, don't believe me, check it out, because I could be lying to you. You see? And so because those things stuck with me, and I always used to hear that, instead of worshiping the man and running behind the man like a lot of people did and still do, I took more to the information that he was teaching. And so even to this day, I see the things that he's done. I see the things that he did and the things he tried to do, and which were absolutely incredible. Written over 400 books. You see what I'm saying? Built a wonderful Egyptian style community in Eatonton, Georgia. Right? Yeah, some things went down, and there's some speculations, I guess, about him, having relations with children and all this other stuff going across county and state lines, and all this with minors and all this, but none of that has been really proven or verified as a fact. My thing is, I think they actually have him in prison, not for that, but for it's a kidnapping. It's really like a kidnapping of an indigenous sovereign person, but at the same time, who am I to say, that he didn't touch him? I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not saying he did. I'm not saying he didn't. But my thing is, I was never a worshiper of him. I was always a student or a studier of his information as much as possible. And so, when I look back and consider all the great things he did, I can't deny the greatness of what he brought to the table. I can't deny it. And nobody really out there can. And because they wouldn't be as conscious if they were, as if it wasn't for him. A lot of these people wouldn't. You see what I'm saying? They act like they don't know his stuff. They act like they don't read it, but they do. And that's why they know as much as they do now. But they'll pretend and act like they got it from somewhere else and this and that. But we all know that Pops really opened the minds of a lot of people. Millions of people. And so, my thing ain't really about him as much as it is about the information. So if the information is made up and copied from this Chinese map, all it is proving my point. Because my point is saying that there's lands beyond the so-called South Pole. And if this Chinese map is right, you see what I'm saying? Then there are lands out there on the outside. And if this whole Nubian thing, or this whole Ilion, 8th planet of risk thing, you got to keep in mind that Pops was a master teacher, and he had 720 degrees of information, 630 of disagreeable and 630 of agreeable. And he always told you to check shit out. So you don't know if he was going to lie to you or not until you really did the investigation. And that's what a lot of people, especially in the Nubian world, haven't learned to do. They'll say they do it and they'll preach it, but they don't really do it themselves, because a lot of them really don't understand or feel that that he would ever lie to them. You see what I'm saying, though? That he would ever tell them something that they would have to one day investigate. See, Nuwabu is sound right reasoning, sound right overstanding, and sound right wisdom. Nuwabu is something for the children. If you've been around Pops long enough, you hear him tell you that this is kindergarten stuff that he's teaching you. Very basic stuff. Which means if I teach you that Santa Claus is coming to town at a certain age, it's really up to you as a child to figure out whether or not Santa Claus is real or not. And you usually learn it from your peers. Being around your peers and your friends and everything, you're going to hear some of them saying, yeah, I believe it. And you're going to hear some of them saying, nah, it ain't true. And so you really kind of formulate your opinion around what your peers tell you, unless your parents tell you straight up what the deal is. But most parents, they go to great extents to lie to you. They go to real great extents to put the tree up and leave the cookies out and the milk out and let you think that it's some fat motherfuckers that's gonna come down the chimney and give you some presents. You know what I'm saying? And then once you start using your mind, you realize, that ain't real. You see what I'm saying? Well, Nuwabu's the same way. You're supposed to look at this stuff and investigate it. If he tell you something about some damn 19th galaxy and 19 planets and 38 moons, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to investigate that shit, not just take his word. And a lot of people took his word and didn't look into it and investigate it. You feel me? So I'm not afraid of saying that. I'm not here to defend Dr. Malachi Z. York per se. I'm here to hopefully help explain some of the information that's been a mystery to people, because a lot of people still believe that they're going off the planet somewhere to the 8th planet in some other galaxy somewhere out of space, in the voids of space, which don't make no damn sense. You see what I'm saying? For one, the only reason most people believe that there's a Mars that's a terra firma is because of NASA and the bullshit images that they put out there. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure they probably got a live feed going right now of the sun and all that bullshit and all that some fake CGI fakery. That's all it is. If you just have to look at it. I could probably pull some of this stuff up. And if they have it on, it'll show you some old fake ass shit. And it's clearly CGI. Point is, if they lied to you about it and they not even showing and proving anything about them ever going into space with some real proof, then how on Earth could we ever believe in a 19th galaxy? You see what I'm saying? Or believe in a place with 19 moons, 38 moons, 19 planets and all this. 3 suns. Unless he used some of his 360 degree disagreeable and 360 degrees agreeable and put those stories together so that you, the child, you see what I'm saying, would figure it out. Would figure out, nah, that ain't real. At least that. You know what I'm saying? At least to that point. That ain't real. Can't be. Now, if this adds up to this and this adds up to this, that can't be. And what I mean by this add up to this and add up to this, if you can't prove that man has ever gone through the Van Allen's belt and back, you see what I'm saying? Then your theories are invalid. That's not true science. We can't truly observe over and over and go over again on a repeated basis people going in and out of space. We can't observe on a repeatable basis the true images and true nature of our planet from space. Because every time they show us something, even on the live feeds, it's CGI. I don't care. Oh, that's old. I don't want to pull that one up. But I don't care what they show you. It's always some CGI graphics. Whether it's live or still. Well, it's not gonna, for some reason, I guess they done cut the live stream off or something. But anyway, when they do have live streams, it's the most ridiculous looking pictures I've ever seen. It really is. So, yeah, that would only prove my point more so if they said that, because if he did make it up, he made it up. But if he made it up according to the Chinese map, then guess what? that proves that there are other, or I'm not saying it proves it, but it gives you more validity as a Nubian to say that those, that galaxy, that 19th galaxy, is not necessarily the 19th galaxy. It's just outer planets or outer bodies of land outside of the 7 continents that we're familiar with. That's really all it's saying, because they say we're the 18th galaxy. And when you look at the numbers 18, that's 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 is the highest. You see what I'm saying? 9 is the highest number, which means that Earth and all its planets, so-called planets, including Earth, is at the highest. We're the highest. We're the 18th galaxy, 9. That's what they say. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what the Nubians, that's what they teach, is we're the 18th galaxy, and the 19th galaxy is Ilion. However, Ilion simply means most high. Ilion means simply the highest point. And if you look at a star, right, and you try to find the most northern star, which star would you find? The North Star, right? Which would be the highest star, which would be Ilion, as far as the definition of the word, the highest star, the North Star, the most northern star. Northern is supposed to be the most northern, the most, you know what I'm saying? And so it would be the highest star north, right? Also, the North Star is also called Polaris, or the guiding star, the steering star, the starship, some people say. You see what I'm saying? Because people would use that star to navigate through the seas and navigate through the forest at night. You feel me? So that star is called the steering star, the guiding light. Right? That would be the most high point. It doesn't move. Right? That star does not move ever. It just doesn't move. If we were on a spinning plane, we should see different constellations, or still spinning Earth, we should see different constellations every night. We should see different star formations regardless every night. We should see dazzling lights and all kinds of dazzling shit every night. Nope. We see the same damn lights, constellations every damn night. You see what I'm saying? And throughout the year, we see them different. They always be in the same pattern every night. Throughout the year, season to season, you see the same. You know what I'm saying? It never changes. Well, we spinning at 1,000 miles per hour on our axis. If we spinning, we rotating at 60,000 miles per hour around the sun. And if the sun is and the planets, the whole solar system, are traveling at 666,000 miles per hour. Come on. We should be seeing some dazzling shit in the night sky. We really should, all the time. And we shouldn't see the same constellations over and over for ages. They call it parallax or whatever, but that, to me, that's just a convenient way to try to explain something away. You know what I'm saying? What they had to do is say the stars that you see at night are trillions and trillions of miles away. Right? So they said that's why you don't see any parallax. But them stars ain't that damn far away. How can you tell me that the stars are that damn far away, or 93 million miles away? Are you telling me that my eyesight is that damn good? You see what I'm saying? I went to the doctor and whatever, and they say I got 20/30 vision. Even with a nigga, even with somebody with 20/20 vision, you mean to tell me that they can see 270,000 miles away, which they say is the sun, the moon's distance from the Earth? They literally can see 270,000 miles away. Their eyesight that damn good. They say your sun is 93 million miles away. Your eyesight that damn good. You can see 93 million miles away. You good? You that good? They done made people think that they got super duper vision. You see what I'm saying? When you look at the sun, first of all, they say that the Earth is a speck compared to the size of the sun, right? But yet when we look at it, that shit look like a little circle. You know what I'm saying? It don't look big. It don't look all that big. But they say it's huge. And they also say it's 93 million miles away. But yet we can see it. I ain't buying it. I did this. I may not be able to find it on this computer, but on that other computer, you look up the North Star, and I'm gonna end it after this because it's I just want to get this out the way and kind of practice this. But if you go through, let's see, Polaris. No, because when I pull up Polaris, all kind of stuff. So, Star. All right. So when you pull up Polaris, the North Star, right? And let's just say, let's just do a search. It says, how far is the North Star from Earth? They say scientists studying the North Star Polaris found that it is about 323 light years from the Sun and Earth. I just thought about it. I ain't even noticed that before. The Sun and Earth. The Sun is 93 million miles away from the Earth. But you saying Polaris is 323 light years from the Sun and the Earth? To me, that don't sound right. To me, that's a little lapse in what their logic, because basically what they're admitting is that the Sun is close to the Earth. If you see what I'm saying, it's real close. Not no 93 million miles. It's a lot closer than that to the Earth. In order for Polaris to be 323 light years away from both of them. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, that wasn't even my point. They said it's substantially closer than a previous estimate of 434 light years. Okay, whatever. 323 light years to 434 light years away from Earth. Keep that number in your mind, because I'm about to switch to another screen real quick. How far, let's do this. How far is Orion?
The Sun is less than a light year away from Earth. Like a lot less than a light year.
Okay. That's what they say.
It's like travels at
86,000. All right. Do you remember those numbers I gave you?
The one you said is
434.
4 point something light years from Earth.
Hold on. Orion is 817 light years away. Alarm, or the star in the middle is of the Orion belt, is 1340 light years away. Okay, I want to keep this over here for a second. I want to go back to what the distance of Polaris was. Now, every time they show you Polaris, they show you this light, and they show you sometimes um, the rotation of the stars around it from what do you call it when you do the they speed up the camera or whatnot. They record the whole night, time lapse. So they do a time lapse, and when they show you Polaris, they usually show you this one little star in the center of everything else, and everything else seems to be rotating around it, right? Because that middle star is the most high star, so everything rotates around the most high. Everything rotates around Ilion, the most high. So that star, Polaris, is actually a 3-star solar system. They don't tell you that, but if you look at Google, just look it up. It's a 3-star solar system. And they say it's 434 light years away. I'm about to make a point. And they only show you, look at this real quick. Look at it real quick. Look at this picture. This is the picture of Polaris. Even when this is probably a computer generated, but even when they try to show you kind of close up, this is the best that they got. You know, they got Polaris A, Polaris AB, and Polaris C. It's a 3-star solar system.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when they show you Orion, let's look up Orion real quick. I got Orion here that is 817 light years away from Earth, right?
Right.
But when you look up the images of Orion, come on, it's going real slow. Hold on, watch this. When they show you Orion, first of all, they show you all this computer generated shit. But they show you stuff like this. They give you pictures like that. Computer generated. But my point is, they can apparently see this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we know it ain't real, but they can apparently say that they see this picture, which is supposedly 817 light years away up to 1340 light years away, right?
Yeah.
And they're showing you this beautiful illustration. But when you look up the North Star, Polaris, come on. Man, this thing taking slow. When they show you the North Star Polaris, they only show you a little star like this. But yet, this is a lot closer than this. You see? But yet they could show me a better picture, a more illustrated picture of something that's what, 2 to 3 to 4 times farther away than something that's closer. They could show me some real nice computer generated images or real nice images of so-called satellite photos of Orion, which is 1,340 damn light years away. But yet when we see Polaris, which is only 323 light years, so-called light years away, they only show us a little speck. So, you see what I'm trying to say? What kind of sense does that make? How can you show me a picture of Polaris, which is a 3-star solar system? I should be seeing some cool shit. But yet, you only show me a little speck, of a star. But when you show me Orion, which is 4 times the distance of the North Star, supposedly, then you show me all kinds of fantastic gas clouds and all this shit. You see what I'm saying? And the actual stars, and their luminosity. Is it because there is no gas clouds around the North Star? The thing is, it doesn't add up. You see what I'm saying? They're spending $50 million a day on computer-generated images of the Orion Nebula, which is 4 times the distance of the North Star, and yet when we look at a picture of any of the North Star pictures, it's just the little one star that they show with all the other stars rotating around it, which anybody who got a camera can time lapse and see that from Earth. You see what I'm saying? But yet you show me this grand nebula, from 1,300 light years away. You know what I'm saying? In grand detail, but can't show me no details of something that's 300 light years away. You see what I'm saying? It's hypocritical. It's kind of shady. It's kind of skeptical right there. All that's skeptical to me. And those are the kind of questions that they can't answer. They really can't go into depth in trying to really answer those kind of questions, because they have to base their questions off of fakery. They have to base their answers off of fake shit. And that's where they get so mad when you question them on things where they know they can't answer. And when you put them up to the test on using their true logic on things, you can't do it, because you can't have logic based on a fucking lie. You see what I'm saying? Your logic will break down quick on a lie that can easily be debunked, which these damn fake ass NASA pictures are. They're fake and they're easily debunkable. Like I say, man, I can go on for hours with these slides, but I'm gonna leave it for here for now. Hey, bro, thanks for listening, man.